Welcome back to the Explorers Tennessee series. Today we're visiting Madison County and we're going to learn about some fascinating places. Madison County is located about 120 miles west of Nashville. Nearly 100,000 people call this place home, the majority of which reside in the county seat of Jackson. Madison County has a wide range of experiences to enjoy. In this video, we will visit a historic church in the Denmark community, tour the home of a railroad legend, eat lunch at a local Italian restaurant, peruse through a movie car museum, and climb an impressive Native American mountain. The first stop of the day is the Big Black Creek community, which is west of Jackson. Local history enthusiast Bill King joined me to share some insight about the area and the Denmark Presbyterian Church.
The town was bigger than Memphis or Jackson, either one, in its heyday. The biggest saloon in West Tennessee was right across the street in front of the church.
Bill is a wealth of knowledge and is very enthusiastic about local history, much of which centers around the Denmark Presbyterian Church.
We consider the Big Black Creek community a 10-mile radius around this church building. And most of the land in that 10-mile radius is actually still in the same families it was in from the original land grants.
The Denmark Presbyterian Church was an unexpected gem while exploring Madison County. Much of the wood in the structure is original from when it was first constructed.
They're huge timbers, and they're hand-hewn is what they are. Because, a mystery to us is how in the world did they get that tremendous timber up as high as this church is. But they had slave labor, of course, and slave labor did help build the church. We do know that.
The church was a significant place in the Civil War. According to Bill, some Union troops camped nearby before the Battle of Britton Lane in 1862. After the battle, Confederate forces held some Union prisoners in the upstairs room of the church.
They were held up there, but only a few days. They didn't have any way to feed and take care of them, and so rather than to kill them literally, they just turned them loose. And about 80, and that was at the Battle of Britton Lane.
In the early 2000s, the church was in bad condition. Two local women took action and started a movement, including Bill, to save the building when it was set to be demolished.
They decided that just wasn't going to happen, that the church was too historic to be just torn down. So our first deal was to raise enough money to prop the building up so it wouldn't fall down. And that's what we actually did. We spent right at $10,000 in saving the building.
Bill and the community began to apply for grants and were successful in receiving substantial funds to repair and restore this historic site.
To actually restore the building itself, we were looking at $500,000 at least.
The community raised enough money to save Denmark Presbyterian Church, which is now owned by the Big Black Creek Historical Association. Bill was the founder of this organization and is a proud member who also loves to give tours of the area.
The building's going to be here another 150 years, I think, now.
I thoroughly enjoyed learning about this community and church building. Engaging people like Bill King bring history to life and make it meaningful. The next stop of the day was the Casey Jones Village in Jackson, where Laura Beaver took some time to explain parts of the museum. Tell me about the exhibits that you have here at the Casey Jones Village.
Well, we start everybody off with a 9-minute video that tells them Casey's story. A lot of our guests are not aware that Casey was actually a real character because the legend has built up so greatly around him, over the years. So what we have here in the museum for them is the best story that we can come up with about Casey's life.
The legend of Casey Jones is quite a story. Casey was the locomotive engineer of a train traveling through Mississippi the night of April 29th and 30th, 1900. The train was behind schedule, but Casey was reducing the delay with high speeds. Upon approaching the town of Vaughn, Mississippi, a stalled train was on the main line. Casey slammed on the brakes but was unable to avoid a collision. Instead of jumping off, Casey stayed with the train to continue slowing it, which was credited with saving the lives of all his passengers to his own detriment.
This is our most prized possession, I suppose you might say. This was Casey's watch, and he was wearing it the night that he was killed. It stopped at 3:52 a.m., which was the time that he had the accident.
I asked Laura what the museum staff wants people to learn after a visit.
We have items here from Casey's life and work and family, but we want everybody to understand what a great man he was. The accident itself, he's famous for because he saved a trainload of people, giving his life in the process. He didn't have to stay with the train, but he chose to. And so all of the people that were aboard the train were saved, not hardly injured at all. And Casey lost his life. He was a very popular man with his peers, well respected for both his work and who he was as a person. And so that's what we like for people to enjoy.
I know that I enjoyed learning more about Casey Jones and his heroic actions with this visit. Stories like his need to be told and remembered. Thankfully, the Casey Jones Railroad Museum has a mission of keeping Casey's legacy alive. For lunch, we stopped at a popular family-run restaurant in Jackson that came highly recommended, the Old Town Spaghetti Store. I was impressed with the quality of the food and service. I was also impressed with the enthusiasm of the manager, Thomas Baldo, who took a few minutes to tell us about the restaurant.
Our business has been around since 1982, and it's actually the second Italian restaurant to open in Jackson, Tennessee. We actually started out just doing pasta and sauces and salads and sandwiches, and from there it kind of grew into I'm not going to say a country style, family style steakhouse. That's why it's Country Italian Grill.
What are your most popular menu items?
Menu items. So I think the most popular would probably be the chicken parmesan and the lasagna. And most of the stuff we saute is very popular. Chicken piccata, if you like lemon, great option. Like I said, we hand cut all our steaks, and really the big thing we got known for on the weekends, we do prime rib. The real way you do prime rib. We roast them in the morning and then cut them fresh for dinner. And we serve it all weekend, so that's kind of what we've been known for. Other than the Italian food, we got really good prime rib.
Stopping at Old Town Spaghetti Store was a good choice, and apparently people from all over agree.
And, we actually get quite a bit of people from Memphis and Nashville. I got people that come through from Nashville, they stop every time they come through. A lot of people drive from Memphis, actually, just to come eat here.
Also of note was this restaurant's commitment to community service.
Local businesses like this, these are the ones who give back to the community. They're the ones that actually, give money to nonprofits or give food to the hungry.
If you are hungry in Jackson, check out the Old Town Spaghetti Store. After lunch, a really unique car museum was the next stop. We're here at Rusty's TV and Movie Car Museum in Jackson. Rusty has dozens of vehicles in his museums, many of which were used in actual movies and TV shows. For example, the Eclipse behind me was driven by Paul Walker in the movie Fast and the Furious. Rusty Robinson loves cars and has turned his passion into a neat business that he shares with his guests. What made you get into this type of business?
Growing up in the 80s, every show had a car in it. A-Team, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, Starsky and Hutch. The cars were as big as the actors.
I asked Rusty how many people actually visit his car museum.
Usually you'll have a few hundred people a weekend. I've had every country, every state you could think of. A lot of people plan ahead, when they're coming from another country, they plan ahead, but, with the app now, they're landing in Nashville or landing in Memphis and renting a car, or that's where they're going from one to the other, and I'm right in the middle, and that's where I catch a lot of my people. They're just wanting a place to stop in between.
One of my sayings is I want to under-promise and over-deliver. When they walk up, most of them don't expect to see this much stuff. None of this would be possible without my parents. My dad, he loved cars and supported me, and my mom supported me and supported him, and none of it would be possible without them, and I always want to say thank you. I want to put a smile on people. Most people walk through, they either love the cars or they love pop culture or movies, and so it takes them back to their childhood, a good time in their life. I just want them to be happy. I wouldn't want anybody to leave without being happy.
I left very impressed with Rusty's car collection and also his knowledge. Wandering through the museum brought back memories from years gone by, and I did leave happy after enjoying the exhibit. We're ending our trip to Madison County today at Pinson Mounds State Archaeological Park, which has at least 15 Native American mounds. Right now, we're at the top of Saul's Mound, which is 72 feet high. Saul's Mound is the largest one in the park. A hike to the top of the steps gives someone great panoramic views all around Pinson Mounds State Park. In addition to hiking and biking on 6 miles of trails, visitors can enjoy a museum that highlights Tennessee's prehistory. The museum is designed to look like one of the park's mounds. Inside are exhibits that display artifacts relevant to the site from different periods of time, such as tools, trade, and ceremony. I hope you've enjoyed our trip to Madison County as much as I have today. There is so much to see and learn all around us. If you haven't yet, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Stevens Travels, and also be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Stevens Travels. I hope that you'll join us next time as we continue to explore Tennessee.